Hello, greetings to everyone. So, as many of us know, nuclear weapons represent a potentially dangerous arsenal for humanity. And today, what protect us from a nuclear war are the international treaties signed by powers and countries capable of creating these weapons. Hello, once again, my name is Ashley Valentina, and today I will present my research project titled Exploring the Consequences of Russia Absence from the START Treaty for a Strategic Arms Reduction. So to carry out this project, an analysis of the new STAR, its policies, and the diplomatic agreements made by both nations was conducted, along with an examination of the factors that have contributed to nuclear tensions over the years. And the reason behind a possible withdrawal from Russia from the agreed stipulations. So, first of all, you might be wondering what is the START Treaty and what is happening currently that warrants an investigation into it. Well, to summarize, the START Treaty is the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. Was signed in 1991 between Russia and the United States with the purpose of limiting the number of launches and experiments, especially with strategic nuclear weapons, which are the longest range missiles capable of crossing oceans and threatening rival superpowers. This treaty has been updated several times over the year, and it's currently on its third phase, remaining in effect until February 4 of 2026. Okay, so now the conflict arises from the fact that last year, to be more specifically on March 15 of 2023, the United States Department announced that Russia had violated certain key provisions of the treaty. So, first of all, Russia refused to allow inspections. The treaty required each party to accept 18 inspections per year. This is to enable each party to assess whether the other is complying with the treaty's limitation. And another accusation is that Russia refused to meet with the treaty implementation body, that is the Bilateral Consultative Commission, which is stipulated as well in the treaty as a required meeting between both parties. And finally, Russia has stopped providing the notifications required by the treaty. The treaty stipulates that each party must provide data and notifications, including information about the movement and status of the nuclear forces, for which it is obligated to be accountable. So these accusations are concerning since a month before the United States made these claims, on February 21st of 2023, Vladimir Putin announced the intention to suspend Russia's participation from the treaty in a message to the Federal Assembly. And this decision was driven by several factors, primarily relying to growing tensions between Russia and the West. So this can be interpreted as Russia attempting to disengage from any relationship with the United States. However, before jumping to any conclusions, I decided to look into Russia's response to these accusations, where Russia clarifies two important points. So, as a first point, they confirmed that due to anti-Russian restrictions imposed during the last inspection, Russia has been unable to conduct this assignment in the United States. So, therefore, they refused to receive these inspections. And as a second point, they claimed that due to these aggressive policies, the United States has unleashed an every war with a real risk of confrontation. So on one side, we have the United States accusations regarding their Russian non-compliance. And on the other side, we have the Russia response stating that their non-compliance is due to anti-Russian attitudes and actions received during the last inspection. But it doesn't end there, because Russia also accused the United States of non-compliance, mentioned that they were the first one to violate the treaty by redesigning and renaming a significant portion of its nuclear strategic weapons. So they will no longer fall into the treaty scope. So what are the consequences if Russia disengages from the START Treaty? Primarily, they will be an even greater breakdown of the bilateral relation between those two powers, leading to an escalation of political and military tensions. Secondly, we know that Russia is involved in a war with Ukraine, And the fact that it's possible withdrawal of the treaty, or even just his non-compliance, has given them the freedom to expand their arsenal. And the third one is that there's a possibility of increasing the risk of a nuclear war between those two powers. And the last one is that other nuclear armed countries, such as China, India, and Pakistan, might resist their own nuclear policies and consider expanding their arsenals as well. So beyond seeking alternatives to Russia comply with the treaty, I realized it would be impossible not to explore alternatives to improve their bilateral relation. I believe there are potential areas of cooperation, such as nuclear armed control and counterterrorism, where both countries share common ground. So to address my proposals, I refer to models from Alison T. Graham's book named Essence of Decision, explaining the Cuban Missile Crisis. The first I used was the regional actor model that I combined together with the mutually assured destruction doctrine. And the second one I used is the organizational behavior model. I applied this model because rather than focusing solely on cost-benefit analysis for the nations involved, I based my approach on an organizational culture that has been used in past tensions. So I proposed 5 alternatives. The first one is that the United States should demonstrate a reduction in its military threats in a visible manner, so Russia feels less need to increase its arsenal. The second one is to promote armed control initiatives through international organizations such as United Nations or multilateral forums that exclude temporarily the United States, so Russia can show their participation and commitment from both sides. And the third one is the United States should adopt or modify internal procedure as well as implement audits in its inspections and inspectors. The number 4 is that the United States should avoid public contact with Russia and wait for a third party, such as the United Nations or the international community, to hold them accountable for their action and cease favoring either side. And the last one of my favorites, is that when communicating with the United States, Russia should maintain more direct contact without intermediaries, limited to presidents and international representatives to seek a better transparency. Similar to what occurred in Geneva in 1986, where President Ronald Reagan and Soviet General Secretary Michael Gorbachev arranged a meeting where no agreement was signed, but the meeting gives the President Ronald Reagan and the Soviet General Secretary Gorbachev the opportunity to assess other and express their differences. All right, so the project concludes that the current tensions between the United States and Russia, reflected in the controversy of the START Treaty, are a continuation of a long story of distrust and geopolitical competition. If timely diplomatic actions are not taken before the START Treaty expires in 2026, there is a possibility that Russia may withdraw from it. And additionally, Russia's absence from the treaty could complicate international relations and reinforce perception on a quote-unquote even war among nuclear powers. Nevertheless, some questions remain unanswered in this research, such as how did the United States receive Russia during the last inspection? What were the protocols or attitudes that suggest an anti-Russian stance? And can the proposed alternatives and ideas generally contribute to an improvement? And the last one is, has there been any international meeting or dialogue convinced to address this crisis? And it is hoped that this project will continue to add these unsolved questions and provide more information about the START Treaty. This has been my research. Thank you all very much for staying at the end.
Mientras alguien escribe en el chat, A mí me gustaría... bueno, ya escritos, así que vamos uno con su pregunta. ¿Quiénes son los actores dentro de Estados Unidos que juegan un rol en estos tratados? Departamento de Estado, Ejecutivo, etcétera.
Bueno, dentro de este tratado está el Departamento de los Estados Unidos, especialmente toda la información acerca de este proyecto la pude obtener especialmente del Departamento de los Estados Unidos. No especifican exactamente qué área, pero con respecto a las respuestas de parte de Rusia y todas esta investigación y las informaciones de Rusia las pude conseguir gracias al Departamento de Relaciones Exteriores de Rusia.
Gracias, Ashley. Aquí hay otra pregunta. Aquí la tengo en la mano si gustas, Sandra.
Veo.
Aquí está la pregunta, dice, ¿es posible que pueda surgir un problema similar con otros recursos, por ejemplo, componentes computacionales o armas biológicas? ¿Existen tratados similares que involucren únicamente potencias económicas?
Sí, existen otros tratados como el de la proliferación nuclear en donde están involucrados más países, como había mencionado China, Pakistán, creo que Francia también está parte de ese tratado. Y así igualmente existen otros y igualmente se espera que se pueda continuar con la vigencia de esos tratados, aunque es posible que por la situación que está pasando con el Tratado START, quizás otros países decidan seguir el mismo camino que Rusia por así decirlo, sus enemigos y por el comportamiento que han tenido con Estados Unidos.
Muy bien, muchas gracias por tu presentación, Ashley.